Hi, David here, CEO and founder of the Freedom Founders Mastermind community. Don't go it alone. What do I mean by that? Don't try to figure out how to build your capital base, build your wealth, build that retirement nest egg, build your freedom plan. Don't try to do it on your own. Look, we were built to go through school, get the grades, get the scholarships, get the license certification on our own back. That's the way it works, right? A meritocracy. But in the real world, collaboration with other people is where you really get to take the opportunity of other people who have already gone down a certain path, a certain road, and what I call mine their experience, right? You can do it your way, figure it out the hard way, or you can go speed a goal and do it with other people who you have vetted, you've checked out. Is their story real? I mean, these are important parts of the story, right? I get a lot of calls from a lot of hardworking, very intelligent, very successful by society standards, high income professionals who reach out to me because they've heard about Freedom Founders and the fact that we are very good at curating alternative investments, that alternative outside of Wall Street. Those who want to be more in control of their financial future, they reach out and they want to figure out exactly what we do and how we do it. Look, it's not a secret. I can teach anybody to do what we do, but do you have the time and propensity to do all the hard work and lifting? Look, I started investing in real estate when I was 22, when I had more time than money, when my time wasn't so valuable, when I didn't have a family and a business and other places to put my time. But today, for most of the people who reach out to Freedom Founders, they're already further along in their career path, their lifestyle, their family. To go back in time and start doing something where I did in their 20s wouldn't make sense at all. So they asked me questions like, David, what kind of ROI do you at Freedom Founders get on your capital investment? What are the entities that you use to do that? How do you pool the money? What do the operating agreements look like? Okay, so these are people who have looked at things. Obviously, they've probably invested in some type of real estate syndications or funds because they've been out there everywhere. I mean, everybody, quote, everybody's made money in the equity markets, financial markets, in the real estate markets, in the private equity markets, really, for the last 14 years. It's been a great uphill run of the markets, right? No question about it. But the market's turning over. And when someone reaches out and says, well, I've done all these things, and I say, well, what's your real goal? And the person, again, will not really have clarity. So they'll say, well, I want to get a higher ROI. And I say, is that really going to do it for you? Is that what's going to do it? Because, see, a higher ROI, when you don't know what you're doing, comes with a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk out there in the marketplace. I have the opportunity to read many, many syndications, real estate syndications primarily, but also I look at DSO, private equity buyouts of businesses, healthcare, dental practices, if you will. I get to get in the weeds and read those. I'm kind of nerdy that way. I like to read and get to the depth. And what I find is very few, if any, very, very educated doctors will take the time to read them. Well, because it takes work, right? It's kind of boring, and there's a lot of boilerplate, right? Just the same old. But there's inside those agreements, there are some specifics that if you don't understand what they are, you get yourself into trouble. And that doesn't usually show up when the market's running uphill, right? It's only when the market goes through a correction, where liquidity tightens up, where the marketplace seizes and the banks aren't lending money and investors need to withdraw their money because of the reverse wealth effect of when the stock market starts to drop. I mean, everybody runs for safety, right? They want their money back. So that's a time when there's mismanagement, sometimes misappropriation of funds. It happens. I mean, that's how Bernie Madoff got caught after many, many decades of doing what he did. It was a Ponzi scheme, right? So Ponzi or no Ponzi, mismanagement, just poor management because the market has been lifting all boats. A rising tide lifts all boats. But when the tide goes out, as Warren Buffett says, you find out who's been swimming naked. There's a lot of people operators who have, even with good intentions, are swimming naked today. And if you're an investor in any of those deals, again, I'm talking about real estate, I'm talking about private equity DSO buyouts. If you're in those deals or contemplating those deals right now, and you're not getting expert advice, you may be betting odds like going to Vegas, where the house is going to win every time. You just can't do it. I don't want to pretend like we save the day for everybody, but we have saved, I can't tell you, countless hardworking doctors and spouses from making bad moves in the marketplace that's changing right now. Save them because we've advised them and shown them what the real story is, and then they get to make the decision on their own. But when you're going out there on your own, trying to do it yourself, you don't get the whole story. You're getting the story that of the other side, who has an incentive, not a nefarious incentive necessarily, but an incentive to get you to do something, right? And maybe they, because of the recent market upswing, they think that they can continue to make things happen and get these great results and returns. And I'm saying that's not likely to happen going forward. And so without understanding how the market cycles, going through a full cycle from bottom to top and back down again, if you haven't seen that, you've been a part of it, you don't have a financial advisor or team around you that has experienced that, you're out there drifting in waters all by yourself. And that's not a good place to be, particularly when you have a significant amount of your net worth, either in a business that you may be trying to exit, or in your capital investments that you're thinking about putting into some new deal, some new whiz-bang high-tech, or some real estate syndication, or whatever it is. You're thinking, well, that's where I got to go, because recency bias says, well, this has worked well in the past. Well, a lot of these things have worked well in the past, but that doesn't mean they're going to continue to work well in the future. Understanding how to pivot when the market's turning is a key construct of what we do in Freedom Founders. Look, I can't pretend to be a know-it-all. I don't. And my predictions aren't going to be 100% perfect. What I tell people is I'm a contrarian. I go counter to the groupthink or the herd mentality. And that usually portends well for me. It doesn't mean I can time the markets exactly. I could be leaving chips on the table and the markets could still push back up a little bit longer. Sure, it can. But I'd rather get out early. I'd rather go to higher ground early, because the potential loss of principal is so great in markets that are turning. I don't want to take that chance. So what if I'm wrong? What if the markets do go up higher, another 20%, wherever you're invested? But what if I'm right and you take a 20, 30, 40% hit? Which direction would you rather be? I'd rather position on higher ground, take some chips off the table, be in more liquid position for a while, watch the markets turn, and then decide when to dip back into the equity side of businesses or real estate or whatever it is you like. But I think right now is a dangerous time, and I don't want to see people who have worked hard all their life risk their nest egg, their life savings, their equity, their wealth, because they just didn't understand the full cycle. I hope this comes to you with the intent that I have it, that I want the best for people, because I've seen people take some big hits when it wasn't necessary. It's all about your freedom, and you have got to take control and stay focused on it. See you next time.